Well, it's sad to see it come down to the final episode. The championship series is finally over. We do have a champion. Uh, I was correct. It was under 23 and a half. The line started at 22, went to 22 and a half, went to 23 and a half, and then at halftime, it was 17 and a half. So it beat 17 and a half barely. I feel bad if you bet under 17 and a half, but it was under everything else. So I almost went over. I thought it was going to be 23 goals exactly. I thought it was going to be like a 12-11 game, but we didn't get that, but we did get a fucking game, that's for sure. So I predicted the first face-off win was an Ardella win. I was right about that. It was 50-50 pretty much. Came down to the wing play and just an overall. I mean, it could have been anyone's ball. First save, I had Burnlore. I had Blaze, and it was Burnlore. And the first goal, I had Carlson, and it was Channy. So start off with that first goal. First possession of the game. Good swing around to Channy. Channy puts in the back of the net, 1-0. Next, you have John Haas, an inside feed to Zeddy Ballgame. He's finally gotten on the board. Good to see him, if you're a Whipsnakes fan or if you're on the team, to see Zeddy Ballgame get out to a good start after having a pretty much absent game the game beforehand against the Redwoods. But Byrne has a goal, an ISO goal, just pretty much rips through three guys and then takes a shot through the fourth. 2-1. And then we got Big Body Stas. That's going to be on a t-shirt, man. That's got to be on a t-shirt. Big Body Stas. I don't know what the graphic image would look like, but it's got to just be big body and like smaller words and then Stas. Stas. So, and big ass words. He cutting down the middle, 2-2. Typical big body Stas goal. He's got good like you can tell he plays like box because he's got good stick protection for sure. And then you got an odd man and subbing. Dixon down low to Thompson. Thompson quick one pump goal 3-2. And Blaze through the first quarter, 4 saves. TK 2 for 6. Pretty good for him. I think the two losses were on, or the two wins were on faceoff violations by Nardella. So, take win however fuck you get a win, Burnlore matches the saves against Blaze, 4 saves, and Nardella is 4 for 5. So he has 1 loss and a TK 1-1 against their backup. Second quarter starts. Not the greatest lacrosse in this second quarter. Blaze has a big save down the transition. Rowlett to Salcedo down to Burn. Burn 5-hole 4-2. In the 5 games that the Whipsnakes have played, they trailed for 8 minutes and 45 seconds. In those 5 games, they trailed for 8 minutes and 45 seconds. In this game, they will trail for at least another fucking 20 something minutes. So they're currently down 4-2. That's how the half ends. There's only 1 goal in the second quarter. It was good defensively, especially by Rowlett and Newman on. I think Rowlett was on Zeddy Ballgame and Newman was on Rambo. They both did fantastic jobs on them. Not easy to guard those guys. But in that second quarter, they did a fucking fantastic job. Also, not the greatest ball play, not the greatest ball movement, kind of slow on both ends. I don't know if it was the defense, good goaltending as well. Goaltenders went off in this game as well. These are the two best goaltenders. It's between them for the goaltender of the year, for sure. So Blaze, 8 saves already. That's fucking crazy. Burnlore matches it, 8 saves. TK 3 for 8, Nardella 5 for 7, Burn 2 goals, and Bernhardt 2 close turnovers, Earnhardt 3 ground balls. It's cool that we have on the Whipsnakes a Burnlore, a Bernhardt, and an Earnhardt. It's like a little bit of everything. Starting after the second half, Starting the second half, we have an unassisted goal from Kevin Buchanan off a nice little shake and bake, 5-2. Blaze has a fucking no on Zeddy. Zeddy tries to dunk it down, and he comes up like fucking Katumbo and was like, get the fuck out of here. Stuffs him. And then, that's in transition. Dane Smith fucking dunks one home right after that. Ball comes down, Dane Smith gets it. He cuts around his defender, coming down the left alley, and comes up and over Burnlor. Dunks that fucking baby home. 6-2. So at this point, you're like, holy shit, man. This is pretty crazy. It's 6-2. Whipsnakes. Who would have thought that Whipsnakes, through 3 quarters, would have only had 3 goals? Brad Smith off a ground ball, then fake. Oh yeah, this was weird. It was like a ground ball, ground ball. Like, he picks it up and then drops it. Rowlett takes it out of his hand, picks it up, drops it, picks it up, drops it, and then he picks it up. He's on the goal line, and Rowlett's just in a bad position at that point, and he just cuts around, and is able to just curl around the goal, get that in the net. So good job by Brad Smith. The back-to-back Smith goals for each other team. Blaze with huge saves on Carlson as the quarter closes. So through 3, only 3 goals by the fucking Whipsnakes. Ridiculous. I don't know who would have fucking bet on that. Blaze, 12 saves, 80%, 3 goals against. TK is facing off at 50%. Burnlor, 11 saves, 65%, 6 goals against, and Nardella is 6 for 10. I would have never expected TK to be 50% at this point. Would have never expected Nardella to have 4 losses at this point. I would have expected the goaltenders to look the way they are, and I would have never thought the score would have been so low on the Whipsnake side of the ball. Maybe through 3 quarters, I could see 6 goals for Chaos. Maybe. After a 19-goal outing, and I think they score like 13 the next game, you're like, alright, 6, 8, 9, 10, like, maybe you have like 3 or 4 in the fourth quarter. You get to like that almost double-digit type of range. Especially if you lose, you're probably netting like 9. So but on the fucking Whipsnake side of the ball, you're like, what the fuck? But throw the first 3 quarters out of the fucking window. It don't matter anymore. It doesn't even matter who you are, unless you're fucking Zeddy ball game at this point. So to start off the fourth quarter, big things going on in this fourth quarter. 2-possession game at this point. To start off, John Haas rolls back, stings the top right corner, 6-4. And you're like, alright, 1-possession game, it's getting pretty close. But then right off the face-off, it's Nardella, gets his own ground ball, passes it down to Zeddy Williams. That's his second of the game. That's the second of the game? That's the second of the game. Next, you got Zed Williams splitting the double team, which you'll see like 400 million other times in this game. A little twister finish, a little start on the right, go to the left, right, left of the side of the body, the stick is going, and then you fucking net that thing home. He's got a hat trick, and the Whipsnakes just scored 3 goals in 31 seconds. Talk about a comeback. Is there going to be answer by Chaos? No. Rambo to Carlson, inside, 1 pump, goal. 7-6. Then Williams, a good pick on Rowlett. He goes under the pick. Williams can't give him that time and space. Gotta go over the pick. Gotta have better communication there. Gotta be able to get that on his hands. Because he's got hands free for even half a fucking second. He rips that shot home. Goal, 8-6. Guess who's gonna score again? Fucking Zeddy Williams, baby. 5th goal of the game. From just inside the arc. 4 goals in 2 minutes. 9-6 Whipsnakes. At this point, you're like, fuck, man. Is there even going to be a fucking answer? Is there going to be an answer to any of this shit? Nope. Chaos power play. Mueller gets a fucking yard sale. Burn. It's a good kill. Rambo at the end of it. So Mueller, yard sale, picks up the ball, brings it down the other end. They kill the rest of it. It was a 1 minute fucking penalty, and they killed all of it. It was maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds in. Turnover happens. They were just too close to each other. It was too predictable. You could kind of tell off the bat that this was just not working. Mueller does a good job. Fucking checks the stick ball out of his stick, then checks the fucking stick out of his hand while the ball's on the ground, picks up the ball, brings down the other end. They wipe out the rest of the penalty. Maybe 10 seconds left. Rambo behind. 3 seconds left. Makes that final cut around the net and fucking nets that home. So instead of it being a 8-7 game or an 8-8 game where you just got on the power play and now all of a sudden it's a whole different fucking, or I'm sorry, it would be like a 9-7 game or a 9-9 game or a 9-8 game. I'm sorry. It's a one possession game at that point, and you're like, oh shit, like this is still anyone's game. There was finally an answer. Instead, it is a total fucking exorcism of momentum from the chaos, if there was any left at that point. And it was just fucking injected into the veins of the fucking Whipsnakes by a great penalty kill to another fucking goal. 10-6 Whipsnakes. And if you thought Zeddy Williams was done, he was not. Zeddy Ballgame splits again, another fucking double team, and then gets the shot off with Rowlett on his hands. This was impressive for anybody who is an attackman, who knows what it's like. I don't, but any attackman who knows what it's like to have a defender, especially Rowlett, the stick is literally right on his hands. And he pulls this shot through Rowlett and into the net, 11-6. And then Locasio has a goal with fucking whatever time left. It's a garbage goal, whatever. And that ends the 10-0 run for the Whipsnakes to end the game. So from 6-2, about halfway through the third quarter, the Chaos do not score again. And from there on, it's a 10-0 run. From 6-2 to 12-6. And that's a fucking ball game. In the fourth quarter, the Whipsnakes had 9 goals and gave up a fucking donut. So on one side of the ball, you got Burn 2 goals, TK 48%, Reardon 14 saves, 54%. These numbers kind of make sense, you know. Goals scored by 5 different players, kind of something you see a decent amount. Usually, you would see like 9 different players. One guy had 2 goals, or 2 guys had 2 goals, so all of a sudden that's like 13 points. That's kind of how the Chaos have been working. But just an overall, you know, fucking shout out to Burnlore for having a fucking game, especially in that fourth quarter. So he went from 11 saves, so he had 5 saves in that fourth quarter. That's a fucking big fourth quarter by him. But, you know, you don't expect one guy to carry the team with the Chaos. You expect a lot of goals by a lot of players. A lot of players just were not able to get those goals. Only 3 assists across the whole team, showing, statistically at least, the lack of ball movement that they had, which was something that you kind of saw in the first 4 games, and then you saw that switch up in the next 2 games, in those first playoff games, and then a little bit back to what they were struggling with, the lack of ball movement. 38 shots, 16% shooting percentage, 15 turnovers. Not horrible on the turnovers, pretty bad shooting percentage. Good TK best game of the year, even if a decent amount of those wins came off of Nardella face-off losses from, violations. There we go. Even if they were violations, win to win. Reardon, 14 saves, 54%. Wouldn't expect any better. Wouldn't expect any worse. Could expect a little bit better. Can't really mock it though. 14 saves, a lot of saves. 54%, it's not half bad. Definitely kind of sunk away in that fourth quarter. Not really much of a. I don't want to say it was a choke, but probably could have gotten some help with everyone else around him. The goals weren't they weren't goals. They weren't saves that he was supposed to make, but I guess he could have made them. I wasn't looking at any of the goals and was like, wow, really, you gave that up. It was kind of like, ah, shit, man. It was more like, wow, fucking Zed Williams has his number right now. Speaking of Zed Williams, 6 goals for the game, won the first, 5 in the fourth. Rambo, 4 points, 1 goal, 3 assists. They had 7 players with a goal, and no one had 2. No one had more than 1 goal, other than Zed. So Zed had 6, everyone else had 7. Earnhardt had 1 cross turnover, 6 ground balls. Nardella, 12 for 16. That's 63% at the stripe. Burnlore, 16 saves, 73%, and net 73% is that's championship fucking net percentage right there. The whole team had 5 assists, 43 shots, 28 shooting percentage, and 11 turnovers. I think those last couple turnovers by the Chaos were probably, I think they came in the fourth quarter more. I don't think that I would say that they had a bad game overall turning the ball over. It's not like it looked like they did it more than the Whipsnakes. I think it was just the nature of the game at the end, I think, came off a little bit more as you don't have to play a little bit more reckless because you're coming from behind. The MVP, my MVP, I think everyone's MVP for the entire championship series, and especially the fucking championship game. Zed Ball game. 20 goals throughout the fucking series, and then 5 goals in the fourth quarter to fucking come back and win. That's a fucking MVP if I've ever seen one. And then a couple things, goalie of the year, I gotta give it to Blaze. You could give it to Burnlore if you really wanted to, but I think Blaze Reardon really put that. He was the only reason why they had a chance to even fucking win. If they didn't have that fucking goaltender in net and he wasn't fucking coming through, just absolutely putting the fucking team on his back, who knows where they would have fucking been, man. Who knows? I mean, they wouldn't have been. I know where they would have been. They wouldn't have been fucking anywhere. They would have been fucking going home as early as can be. Defenseman of the year. This is a tough one. So a couple guys who come to mind on each team. McMahon for the Archers, Van Raphorst for the Atlas. Rowlett definitely for the Chaos. You could say Bernhardt or Earnhardt for the Whipsnakes. Ryland Reese, or BJ Grill for the Waterdogs. And then you could say John Sexton, Garrett Apple, maybe Patrick Harbison for the Redwoods. My defenseman of the year. I would give it to Van Raphorst, to be honest. I think that he had the most calls turnovers throughout the championship series, with even with one less game played than some of the other guys I'm comparing him to. He had 21 ground balls throughout the entire time. He was really like, I mean, you could give it to especially someone even like fucking God, I'm blanking on his name right now. Eddie Glazner. Not the best on the stat sheet, but definitely great, fucking orchestrating that offense. I mean that defense throughout the year. A great guy to be fucking mic'd up. But I'll give it to Van Ratborst, especially just to show some love to some of the worst teams in the league. Rookie of the year, I gotta go Grant Cement. You could put a. You could definitely give Brian Costabile a couple votes for fucking sure. But, fucking Constable's line, 9 points, 6 goals, 1 2-pointer, 1 assist, 25 shots, 28 percentage. Pretty good. But when you look at the fucking points for the league, you got fucking Grant Cement in 6 games, 20 points, 6 goals, 14 assists. Kind of tough to push him away with that. While you got fucking, I think that's the 6 goals compared to 6 goals, yeah. So definitely gotta give that to Ament, but I definitely want to give that shout out to Constable because I think that he had an underrated year on a team that didn't look so great. Coach of the year, I guess you would just have to give it to the Chipsnakes coach. I'm blanking on his name at the moment, but I think that you probably just end up giving it to him. And face-off man of the year, that's an easy one. Fucking Nardella. I don't even think that there's. I don't think that there's a. I don't think there's nobody even. He's 10% better than anybody else, and at that point, it's kind of just like. It's not close. It's not even close. Anything else of the year? I can't even think. I guess Outbreak Player of the Year. I would definitely go fucking Zedubal game again with that one. But let's look at expansion player of the year. We'll give this a quick look. We'll look at I would like to take a look at the Waterdogs roster. I wonder if they do this. I wonder if they have. Here we go. All right. So attackman player for I would give the defense. You could give it BJ Grill, Brody Mel, or Rylan Reese. Maybe even fucking blank on his DiNapoli. You could give maybe DiNapoli. Maybe not half bad. You could give it to, those are the 4 defensemen that kind of come out to mind. I'd probably end up giving it to, I would give it to Rylan Reese just because I like him more. I think that he was a big two-way guy. But you could give him BJ Grill because he was always given the toughest assignments. Attackman-wise, you got McCardle. I think you would probably end up giving it to McCardle. He had that one goal with like 5 games. He put the team on his back that game, for sure. And he was the only dude with more than 5 points on the attack side. So yeah, I'll give it to him. Midfielders, would have been nice to see a little bit more of Zach Currier. Connor Kelly, 5 goals, 2 2-pointers, and assists. Ben Mcintosh. I think Ben Mcintosh had a really good year. I'll give it to Ben Mcintosh. He had 6 goals, no 2-pointers, no assists, but I fucked with the way that he played. Face-off guys, pretty much 50-50 for them. 58% and 55% for Withers Semino. I like the way that Semino played, personally, but Withers definitely played better against the better guys. Well, I think Semino played pretty consistent throughout, no matter who he was up against. Surprised Karolinus didn't play at all. I don't know if he had an injury or something, but this season he just had absolutely. He's technically on the team, but he doesn't even have photos taken, so I'm not sure what happened to him. Maybe he got fucking Rona. And then goalie, you have Cipriano and DeLuca. Cipriano, I don't think is the answer. I think Matt DeLuca is your guy. If I had to give an MVP to this team, I guess I'd have to go McCardle because he had the most points by far, and they weren't really much of a defensive team. So I'll give them that. How many goals against per game do they have? I guess they don't give me a fucking goals against average. Fucking cunts. Alright. Fucking last things to throw out there. Fucking Rangers won the draft lottery. Fuck them. I think they should trade it. They don't need a fucking left winger. They should get a D-man for sure. Excited for next season for the PLL. Roll Woods, man, it's been fun, but I am kind of tired of doing this shit. I won't lie. It's been kind of rough doing all these. It's a grind putting these fucking notes together, watching every single game. But it's over. It was only 2 weeks. Fun while it lasted for sure. Glad it's done though. Yeah, man, fuck. Can't believe it's already done. Can't believe it's fucking August. We'll see what happens this upcoming. So they'll have another draft at the end of last season, the end of next season. We'll see who's coming out in that draft. I'll be interested in how they do, the draft lottery and shit like that. But we'll get into that another day. But those are my fucking award. That's my award ceremony. That's my fucking recap of the game. That's my analysis. I hope all 2 people that have been listening to this, if you guys even listen to the whole thing, have enjoyed it. I've given a lot to this shit, and I hope that I can do the same thing next season. And we'll see how hopefully I'm working it next season, to be honest. Hopefully I'm working it. So, we'll see how that goes. Alright. God bless. We'll have some other shit from now on. I'll probably do a podcast actually on the first round of the playoffs. Maybe I'll do that right now. Fuck. Alright. Sounds good, man. It has been real with the PLL. Now against some hockey.